Welcome to Holding Down the Fort by U.S. VetWealth. I'm your host, Jen Amos, a Gold Star daughter, veteran spouse, and upcoming author. This season, we're helping seasoned spouses explore new opportunities and ideas outside the military so that they can make more confident choices for their next chapter. Why? Because you too are retiring, and now it's your turn. Let's get started. All right. Hello, everyone. Happy end of Military Family Appreciation Month, as well as happy Thanksgiving. Today is going to be just a mix of updates. I'll give you a quick overview of what to expect in this episode. I will share a little bit of what is Military Family Appreciation Month in case this is actually the first time you're hearing about it. I'm going to get into my updated objective for my show. I'm also going to get into updates on my book, Military Spouse Benefit Plan. And I'll also get into if you are not a military family, but you want to support military families, I have a great resource to share, especially if you're a solopreneur or small business looking to contract military spouses. So we will get to that toward the end of this recording. But in the meantime, if you are hearing about Military Family Appreciation Month for the first time, here is a description straight from military.com. I will provide the link to this in the show notes. So you can check that out at insidethefort.com. That's insidethefort.com. Military Family Appreciation Month is a time set aside to recognize you, the military family. Military families know what it means to serve. Every day, you get up and support your service member, standing by during long trainings and deployments. You, as a military family member, know the risks, but you accept this life of service anyway. You are the backbone of our military. You are the quiet but steady fuel at home that keeps the fire burning. You keep the track of military pay, benefits, and news because you know that they make a daily difference in your life. And when your time as an actively serving family comes to an end, you support your veteran. Serving is just what you do. And as we come to a close, we hope that military families like yours had felt honored and recognized for your commitment and contributions in support of our military and our nation. So first and foremost, I really love how we have Military Family Appreciation Month. As someone, as myself, who had grown up in a military family, it means a lot to know that the families today feel seen and appreciated and cared for. And if by now you get to this episode and you haven't felt appreciated, we'll just know that I appreciate you. And my company, U.S. VetWealth, also appreciates you. In fact, the main part of our mission here at U.S. VetWealth is to help our military families, particularly our military spouses, understand military retirement and beyond, particularly the survivor benefit plan. So I'll get to more of that in a little bit. But like I said, as someone who grew up in a military family, it is my honor and privilege and great blessing to be where I am today to serve the community that I was raised up in. I want to give you a big picture overview of what the show is about and how this is greater than what my company does and even my own mission in my upcoming book, The Military Spouse Benefit Plan. We've been running for a couple of weeks now. We started back up again in fall. And prior to that, it's been almost a year, since the show had been live. So if you've been following from the beginning of fall season, thank you. And also, I appreciate that you get to follow my journey and, hear how I have been continuously improving my overall messaging in hopes of helping you, the listener. That being said, I have updated our show's objective. Let me just read it to you and then I'll explain what it's about. So this season 10, believe it or not, 200 plus episodes later, it's still ridiculous, like how long I've been running the show. Blows my mind. Feels like just yesterday I started. But this season, we are helping our seasoned spouses and retirees explore new opportunities and ideas outside of the military so that they can make more confident choices for their next chapter. This updated objective is really important to me because I am personally on a mission to, help our military community going through military retirement recognize that you are no longer limited to government options. The truth is you never were limited to government options, but now I hope I can highlight it more so than ever that you are allowed to seek a second opinion elsewhere. No different than what civilians do, which is the world you're about to step into for post-military life. So whether you seek out a second opinion with the survivor benefit plan, with your TSP, with VGLI, basically anything financial related around military retirement, or whether you seek a second opinion on what kind of career you want to have for post-military, or a second opinion on, what you want for your kids, what you want for yourself for post-military. My hope is that this updated objective shows you like the greater mission of the show, which is, again, to explore new opportunities and ideas outside of the military. And so moving forward, anyone that I invite to the show aligns with this message. And I hope to introduce to you new perspectives to give you the confidence to not just seek out a second opinion, but act on it if you feel informed enough to make that confident decision so that you're not just allowing life to happen to you, which I know is very common in the military life, but now you are taking the reins because it's your turn now for post-military life, So that is the updated objective. I will read it again. It is, we are here helping seasoned spouses and retirees explore new opportunities and ideas outside of the military so that they can make more confident choices for their next chapter. So if you are this demographic or you are in support of this demographic, then I hope that this show is another resource, another tool for you. Or you can reach out to me to see if there's any collaborative opportunity for you to be on the show and share how you are offering new opportunities and ideas outside the military. So moving along with my notes here, contrary to what my outro of my podcast episode says, I want to share with you that by now we have already released not just the introduction to my book, The Military Spouse Benefit Plan, but also the first 3 chapters. And I'm already planning on releasing a couple of more chapters in the upcoming episodes, so stay tuned for that. Again, my book is all about helping the seasoned spouse make a confident and informed decision about the survivor benefit plan in comparison to what's available in the private sector. And you might be wondering, I recently had a conversation with someone. I forgot how they said it, but the way that I heard it was the SBP. That is a very interesting niche topic to cover. And my response to that is great. So hopefully when people think of Jen, when people think of US VetWealth, they will think of SBP. And it is very niche, and I'm glad to have a primary focus, in our offerings here at US VetWealth. But it's really important for me to talk about it because one thing I think has been gravely overlooked in the military retirement process is the seasoned spouse understanding that the survivor benefit plan requires your notarized signature should you decide to opt out of the SBP. And for some people, this is very easy to gloss over, but with everything that I know at this point, it is a life-changing decision to decide if you're going to keep it or not. It's a life-changing decision that you may not appreciate till decades from now. And so I like to focus on it so that you don't overlook it and that you don't just see it as a death benefit. My goal is for you to see it as more than a death benefit, but as an opportunity to make your first confident and informed financial decision for post-military. So as I said, the first couple of chapters are available now. And even if you cannot wait for my whole book to come out, simply by downloading a copy of the initial chapters, you'll also get access to my husband's book, Don't Forget Your War Chest, which speaks to the military retiree about the survivor benefit plan decision. So it takes on a different perspective, but that is available. And that is the most common book that people read before speaking with us in our company. Now, if you happen to read my book, the initial chapters, and you happen to read my husband's book, and you want more and you're ready, when you visit the link to download the book, you can also visit our link, Military Retirement Calculators, plural.com, where you can actually start inputting information about your pension and how long you served in the military today. You can start that process to actually crunch numbers and see what alternative solutions can look like to protecting your pension. And if you want more, you can always schedule a discovery call with our company, US VetWealth. It's free. There's no strings attached. Again, our goal here is to not hard sell you. It's to inform you. It's to help you see the options that are available for you and hopefully empower you to make confident and informed decisions about, your military retirement financial planning, whether it's with us or with someone else, or if you're just content with what you have. The point is that we're not just here to talk about finance. We're here to help you reawaken agency, to help you recognize that you are allowed to explore options outside of the military. And so that is our mission. That is our privilege to be able to provide an alternate solution and education for you to embrace post-military life. So as a final recap, this season, we're helping seasoned spouses and retirees explore new opportunities and ideas outside the military so that they can make more confident choices for their next chapter. And moving forward, just like our previous episode with Chris and Larry, we will continue to bring on other guests who align with this mission. All right, let's shift gears. And so far, I have been speaking to military families, but if you are for military families, if you are for supporting military families, and you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur, I'd like to share with you my personal testimony in hiring military spouses through an amazing company called Freedom Makers. Freedom Makers, their website is freedom-makers.com. I will provide their link in the show notes. And on their website, their description goes as such. We connect small businesses and entrepreneurs with dedicated military spouse virtual assistants who provide tailored administrative solutions designed to support and elevate your business. So if you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur that really wants to put your money where your mouth is to support our military spouses through Freedom Makers. Now, like I said, let me tell you my personal experience in working with Freedom Makers. So first and foremost, I really appreciate the flexible hours that we get to have with our Freedom Maker. So basically, when you contract a military spouse, they are described as a Freedom Maker. And to me, I interpret that as, they're freeing up, they're helping me free up my time so that I can focus on more higher level thinking for my business. So hence Freedom Maker. But, if you are a growing small business, you may not be able to offer a full-time job or set hours for someone that you contract. But with Freedom Makers, you're able to start from, as little as 5 hours a week and work your way up as your company grows or as, the demand for help grows in your company. And part of why that's possible in the flexibility of hours that you can give to a Freedom Maker is because there is this mutual understanding that the Freedom Maker may actually have several clients. That's right. The Freedom Maker reps really equipped the Freedom Maker to take on various contracting jobs, so long as it works with their schedule. So you have peace of mind and you don't feel, let's say, pressured to give them more hours if you don't have those hours to give. We like it for that reason because in our line of business, sometimes we'll be really busy and sometimes we won't. It just depends on the season of our business when people think about life insurance, for example. Now, another benefit that I have observed in working with Freedom Makers is they have what I like to call a built-in HR. The Freedom Maker reps, they really handhold both parties, the Freedom Maker that we hire, and they also help us as the business owner because truth be told, we are not recruiters. We are not versed in knowing how to hire the right people. So it helps to have a company like Freedom Makers do the vetting for us. They help us identify what we need. They give us forms to fill out, for example, like what administrative tasks do we need help with? And then they put in the work to promote the job listing. They vet the people who apply and they coordinate the interviews for us. They give us a certain time frame, a 2-hour time block where you get to interview up to 4 Freedom Makers that you may consider hiring. And then they help us with the onboarding process. And heck, they even help with the firing. And so they really help the business owner like my husband and I with the hiring process and the onboarding process and expectations and everything. And all the while, the Freedom Maker that we hire is also given their level of support, training, resources. They're also being checked in on. So then, once the Freedom Maker starts working with us, the Freedom Maker reps, they check in with us routinely to make sure that everything is going well with the Freedom Maker as well as the business owner. So personally, I love that handholding. I love that peace of mind knowing that in supporting a military spouse through the Freedom Makers, not only are we supporting the spouse, but we're also supporting the company, Freedom Maker, and their representatives in making sure that our working relationship, is running smoothly. So I have come to appreciate this versus typical freelancing websites where I, as the business owner, have to do the research, have to do the vetting, have to do the interviewing, and also have to do the training. And that's a lot of work when I should be focusing on other things where the Freedom Makers representatives help with all of that. And what I love about having that third party supporting our Freedom Maker and us is minimal lack of communication and minimal blind spots, and more importantly, a higher chance of retaining the person that we have hired. So if you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur that you're just like, I don't have time, I'm not even equipped to know how to spot the right person to hire, then Freedom Makers is for you. And then the other thing I want to mention is I love just the continual support from the Freedom Maker representatives because, for example, part of my blind spot is prioritizing weekly calls with my team because I am someone that likes to work independently. I have my own systems when it comes to working. I'd like to consider myself pretty self-motivated, and I assume that everyone else is the same way. But one thing that the Freedom Makers had suggested to us is to schedule weekly check-ins with our, Freedom Maker that we hired. And they helped me understand the value of that, having like scheduled weekly check-ins, even if you can't meet every week, to commit to a weekly schedule, to be able to have those touch points and make sure that we're on the same page with everything. So I really appreciate that advice, like rather than just messaging them, via text or email, understanding the value of having that face-to-face, even if it's virtual, having that face-to-face check-in and interaction can help us all stay on the same page and even spark some innovation and creative ideas. So if you are interested in hiring a military spouse with flexible hours, with solid communication and support from Freedom Makers, from the Freedom Makers representatives, and above all else, you want to support military families, then I highly encourage you to look into Freedom Makers. What better way than to support military families than to contract military spouses who are constantly PCSing, juggling kids, readjusting to new places, and just giving them a sense of purpose outside of all the chaos of military life, being able to take their work with them wherever they go. And the last thing I want to share is if you speak openly about your experience with Freedom Makers, like me, Freedom Makers has a loyalty program to reward you with free hours toward your Freedom Maker. So if you have something good to say about Freedom Makers, and let's say you, the listener, are really intrigued by what I have to say, you reach out to Freedom Makers and you decide to hire through there, I get rewarded with bonus hours toward my Freedom Maker that I have hired. So that way you can reduce the amount of cost toward your Freedom Maker. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really know a lot of other recruiting companies or organizations like Freedom Makers that incentivizes you to speak highly of them, especially if it's genuine, because we've been working with Freedom Makers for more than a year now. And it's about time. It's about time to reveal to you that everything that I do takes a village, and part of that village is Freedom Makers. So once again, if you want to support a military family and you are an entrepreneur, a small business owner that is looking to outsource their administrative work, go ahead and check out Freedom Makers and feel free to mention me, Jen Amos, or my podcast, Holding Down the Fort by U.S. VetWealth. All right, so that is all I have to share in regards to Military Family Appreciation Month and just the gratitude we have for our military families, not just service level, we're grateful for you, but yes, we will also employ you, we will also help you. I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be able to have a show such as Holding Down the Fort by U.S. VetWealth to speak so highly of our community, the community that I grew up in, and now 20 plus years later, I'm able to serve as well, with U.S. VetWealth and of course, I'm hiring through Freedom Makers. So that's all I have to share for now. What's to come, y'all? What is to come for the rest of the year? Well, let me tell you, we have more interviews to come of people that I've invested time in networking with. I am more intentional with who I'm connecting with and who I hope to build fruitful collaborations with. So if anything in this episode had resonated with you, feel free to reach out to me. Just visit insidethefort.com and you'll find my contact information on there. And I hope to hear from you soon. And be on the lookout for more chapter releases for my upcoming book, Military Spouse Benefit Plan. Only available if you subscribe to insidethefort.com. Happy Military Family Appreciation Month and happy Thanksgiving. We are thankful for our military and for everyone that supports them, myself included. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're seeking a second opinion on the Survivor Benefit Plan, subscribe to our podcast now at insidethefort.com. That's insidethefort.com. Once you subscribe, you will receive a free download to the introduction of my book, The Military Spouse Benefit Plan. Why? Because you've spent years holding it down for your family, and we are dedicated to helping you own what's next. See you on the inside at insidethefort.com, or we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.